and then the directory will be created. Perfect. Now we are going to look at how to copy directories in a Linux system. So if you are going to copy a directory, you need to get a source. That's what you are copying, and then the targets. That's where you are copying to, or the destination. So if I want to copy a directory, then I will use the cp command. But let's look at something here. Let's say I want to copy this directory, DNA. I want to copy it into bioinformatics. If I do cp DNA and I say bioinformatics, let's execute it and see what happens. I'm going to get this error. Okay, because this is a directory. So if it's a directory, then you need to bring your -r. So that's what we are going to look at. So if I want to copy a directory, you need to also decide, or you need to also take into consideration what you are copying. Are you copying the directory together with everything in that directory? I mean, all the subdirectories, all files in that directory, or you are copying just a file or a directory in that main directory. So let's say you want to copy this directory and everything in it. Then I'll say cp-r, and then I say DNA, and then I will specify where I'm copying to. That'll be bioinformatics. So it has been copied. So now I can do an ls, and I'm going to find the DNA directory there. You can also copy and then rename. Okay, let's just clear the screen and then just continue from here. So I can copy and rename the directory. So if let's say I want to copy the directory and then rename it, I can just say cp-r DNA, and then where I'm copying to, this is bioinformatics, I'll have to specify another name. So let's say DNA2. So I'll execute this command. So if I do this, then I'm going to get another directory. So I'll say ls bioinformatics, and I'm going to get DNA2. Okay, because now we have copied and then renamed it. So this is another way. So instead of maybe trying to delete what's already there before copying, you can just copy and then rename. Okay, so that's how we copy and then rename. Now let's look at something here. I am going to copy this DNA again into bioinformatics. I already have this file there, this directory there. So let's say cp DNA into bioinformatics. Okay, so here we have to add a -r because it's a directory. So I'll copy it now. Okay, let's do an ls. Now we had earlier on copied the directory. We had earlier on copied the directory. Okay, I repeat. We had earlier on copied this DNA directory, and now we are copying it again. So this is something that sometimes can happen. And if it happens, then it's possible that files will be overwritten. Okay, so you should be careful what you are copying and where you are copying to. So if, let's say, the file you are copying to or the directory you are copying to, another directory has the same name there, then it's advisable you just copy and then rename, like what I did here. Or you just remove this directory, or you just copy to a different directory. Okay, so before you even copy, you can just do an ls first, like I did here, to see the contents in the destination directory where you are copying to, so that you are sure that there are no directories with the name or with the same name as what you are copying. Okay, so it's important you also check that to avoid modifying files. Okay, so always use the ls to check and make sure that your directories have unique names. Or you can also add extra characters, like maybe version 1, version 2, version 3, etc., just to make sure you have unique names, so that you don't modify or delete files accidentally. Okay, let's go. You can also copy subdirectories. Okay, so if let's do an ls again, let's say DNA. If let's say I want to copy this directory, which is in DNA, then I don't need to do cp-rdna. I can just go straight to that directory. So I can say cp-rdna/sequence. And then I copy it to bioinformatics. So now if I do an ls into bioinformatics, I'm going to find the sequence directory there. So if you are going to copy just a subdirectory, then you don't need to copy the entire directory because you end up generating files which you don't need. You can just go straight and then copy that subdirectory, like what I did here. If there's a file already there and that's what you want to copy, you can also do that. Let's create a file. Let's say touch DNA sequence.txt. So if it's a file, that one you can just say cp dna/sequence.txt, and then you just place it in the bioinformatics directory. So now if I do an ls, I'm going to find it's there. Let me just see. It's ls bioinformatics. So I'm going to find a file there. Okay, so once you do it this way, then it becomes good. So now we have learned how to also copy files and how to copy and then rename. Now let's look at something here. Let's look at this. It's important we deal with this. Let's ls into DNA again. Let's create 2 more files in this DNA directory. So I will just say touch DNA/file.txt. I'll create another one. I'll say touch DNA/sequence.fa. Let's ls again here. Now I have what? I have these files. I have this, I have this, I have this. Now if let's say I want to copy some files, let's say I want to copy just this and then this, then of course you can do it this way. You can say cp dna sequence.txt dna file.txt, and then you specify destination. Let's say // to copy to our current directory. That is possible. But then if you, let's say you have hundreds of files, then this is where some tricks also come in handy. You'll notice that these files all end with .txt. Okay, so another strategy you can use to copy these files is to just say cp dna *.txt, and then I'll place it in another directory. So this time let me place it in RNA. So I'll say RNA. Okay, so this has been copied. It's simple. So you notice how this one has been done. This is much simpler than what this one here. Okay, and this one also, if you have lots of files and you're using this approach, you can make mistakes, but this one is just straightforward. So why are we able to do this? This is because these files have something in common. They all end with .txt. So that's what I did here. So the star here indicates that you want all files that have their names ending with .txt. Okay, so this is where naming conventions come in handy. Okay, so if you have a good naming convention, then it becomes easy to manage your files, manage your directories, and even process them. Okay, so this time, because I had these files ending with .txt, I was able to just use this command. You can do that with your FASTA sequences, your FASTA files, your GenBank files, your FASTQ files. If you have a good naming convention, then it becomes easy to move these files, copy them, process them, and do all stuffs with them. Okay, so this is just a demonstration to show you how naming conventions can also come in handy when managing directories or files. But for naming convention, I will cover that in details in another tutorial. But if you have files which you have issues or you have challenges managing or processing them, you can always reach out to me and then we can work out something together. So let's pray. So this is another way. So this is how we copy directories and then files for that matter. Perfect.